The government has caved into Pakistan and got absolutely nothing in return. So Sir Keir Starmer negotiates like he punches.
Just try and whack it. Yes, this is good. And again. That's it. And again. Try and breathe. Relax.
Pakistan International Airlines was suspended in 2020 because it turned out a third of their pilot licences were either fake or dodgy. Right. We currently have countless Pakistani paedophiles and rape gang monsters in Britain. Here are just some of them. We've had issues in places like Telford, Rochdale, Rotherham, Aylesbury, Oxford. In fact, there are around 50 towns and cities right across the country. And this disgusting piece of work was the ringleader of the Rochdale Grooming gang. Now, he served just 2.5 years behind bars and was set for deportation originally more than 12 years ago. In the meantime, he's claimed thousands of pounds in legal aid, which you've paid for, to fight his deportation. He shredded his Pakistani passport and, shock horror, he's still in Britain. But that hasn't stopped him building a house back in Pakistan for his family, despite, of course, not wanting to be deported there. And apparently, according to The Sun, he's even been throwing wild parties on the street where he lives. And, well, yeah, there's kids on that street, aren't there? So there you go. We couldn't even deport another Pakistani paedophile because it wouldn't have been fair on his kids, which is ridiculous, isn't it? So, what happens yesterday? Well, PIA is now allowed to fly to and from Britain again, it seems. Brilliant. Yes, that's what we need, isn't it? A more direct route there. It's hardly a surprise this has been allowed, though, given that there are several Labour MPs who seem to only bother getting out of bed in the morning so they can lobby for a new airport to be built in Mirpur, a specific region of Pakistan where a lot of the rape gang monsters actually come from or have family ties to.
28th of March, I shared on social media the work I and colleagues across the two houses have been doing to urge the government of Pakistan to build an international airport at Mirpur. This is an important issue for over 1 million British Kashmiris who overwhelmingly come from there and face delay and danger whilst travelling from Islamabad to Mirpur.
So, Labour have allowed PIA to resume flights to and from Britain, and only now are they beginning to negotiate about sending grooming gangs back to Pakistan. So Paul Waugh, who is the Labour MP for Rochdale, said this: "This is a very welcome news. I know that this decision will have been taken solely on the basis of the safety improvements made by the airline, and it's not linked to deportations. But it indicates exactly the kind of close working relationship we need between the UK and Pakistan to pave the way for the return of Pakistani nationals deported from the UK, including the men convicted for being Rochdale grooming gang members." Can you imagine buying a car off Sir Keir Starmer? Seriously, he'd pay you to take it off him, wouldn't he? Anyone watching this now, any one of you at home, will have said this: OK, we'll let you fly into Britain, but only if you take the rapists and the paedophiles back. Well, we've given them what they want. We've given Pakistan exactly what they want. And now we're hoping that they take a couple of people back in return. This is another massive slap in the face. Yet again, Labour has treated the victims of the Pakistani rape gangs as an afterthought.
Do you want to save a boatload of cash this summer, wherever you have a trip planned? The one thing you're going to need is access to the internet and on the go. You can do that easily with Saily. Hit the link in the description to get 15% off your first eSIM plan ready for your trip so you can browse to your heart's content. Saily gets you a local SIM card you can use when traveling so you don't have to pay those crazy roaming fees just to send a message or check the latest news. Now, they've got plans in over 160 countries, 8 regions, so pretty much everywhere, wherever you're going, they'll be able to make sure you're connected. So how does it work? All you've got to do is this. Hit the link in the description to download the app. It will work on iOS or Android. Buy a plan. You can choose an amount of data and time frame that suits you best. And then just install the eSIM on your phone. When you land at your holiday destination, you can activate your plan instantly. And if that wasn't enough, Saily eSIMs only ever have to be installed once. So when you go on your next trip, you just buy a plan for a new country, turn that eSIM back on, and boom, you're back watching me on GB News. I'll be using a Saily SIM on my next holiday because it's actually faster than some of the hotel Wi-Fis. You can get unlimited data if you want, so you can scroll away to your heart's content. And when you leave the hotel, you don't have to do that annoying thing of Wi-Fi hopping because you've got constant connectivity wherever you go. And they've got 24/7 support as well and a full refund policy if your eSIM isn't compatible. So get sorted for your next trip. Download Saily using the link in the description below. And if you use the code NEWS at checkout, you'll get an exclusive 15% discount on us. So click the link, download Saily, and use the code NEWS at checkout.
Let's get thoughts of my panel. We have got former Tory MP Anna Firth, got Conservative peer Lord Bailey, and ex-Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser. Yeah, Anna, I'll start with you on this. I mean, it just seems like a really backwards way of negotiating, doesn't it? Give the Pakistanis what they want and then maybe ask them to take a few people back in return.
It's absolutely ridiculous. As I've said many times on this sofa, all of these Pakistani grooming gang criminals should be deported straight away. It's not a negotiating issue. These people have come to our country, they've abused our girls. I think one of those grooming gangs men had a child with a 13-year-old. They are criminals. They should be deported. And if necessary, we fly a plane with a parachute and out they go. Simple as that. Nothing to do with negotiating.
Well, Sean, your views.
Let's be clear, they're two separate incidences. It doesn't matter if they take these men back or not. As to why we let those planes come here or not. If the airline doesn't work, the planes don't come here. We shouldn't even be using the word negotiation. They're two separate matters. That's the first thing. The second thing is this. We give Pakistan huge amounts of aid, huge amounts of diplomatic resource and visas. All three of those things would stop until we sign some kind of document that says you take back not only the grooming gangs, but anybody else that we decide needs to go back to Pakistan. This isn't about grooming gangs. It isn't about race. It isn't about an airplane. It's about respect. This country will continue to be taken for a soft ride if everything we achieve is through a negotiation. This is not a negotiation. This is a demand. This is an instruction, and that's all it should have been.
Yeah, Matthew, so a member of the Pakistani government is reported to have had a conversation with David Lammy and certain members of the Labour government talking about, well, you know, if we have the airlines that are allowed back, that could pave the way for a conversation about the return of paedophiles and rape gangs as well. So, sorry, why didn't Labour just say, hang on a minute, OK, so your airline's been cleared to fly here now, so apparently no longer is it the case that a third of your pilots are fake, right? So you can fly in and out of England now, but we'll only let you do that if you take people like this back.
Well, I don't think the two should be linked. I think we should be putting pressure on Pakistan to take back people. Let's remember that a lot of the people in the grooming gang scandal are of Pakistani heritage, but are actually British citizens born here, etc. There are some who were either are or were dual nationals. I think in the case of some of the chaps you mentioned, they conveniently disposed of their second passport before they could be deported, and that's where the issue comes from, because we'd effectively make them stateless if we took their passports away. But I agree with you, Sean. I think we should be using every lever we've got, and it seems to me the biggest lever we've got isn't the Pakistan International Airlines. If it has changed, if it is safe to fly here, then it should be treated like everybody else. I don't think at the moment they've actually been given the right. They've been told that they can start it's not quite at the stage of their planes landing. I think it's at the stage of we think you've made improvements, now you need to secure detailed slots. But what we need to do is use every lever, including, as Sean says, aid and visas, to get those people who shouldn't be in this country out of this.
I think it just feels like a slap in the face for a lot of the victims and survivors, though.
There's a big legal issue here. Our judges should not be allowing these Pakistani men to use renouncing their Pakistani citizenship as a way to make themselves stateless.
Yeah,
he's built a home, buddy. He's built a home.
Where there's a will, there's a way. If those documents ever existed, they could be made to exist again. And I would simply say to the Pakistani authorities, you provide me with these details, and I will continue to provide.
Sean,
and I think in one
but it's simpler than that, Sean.
With aid.
It's simpler than that. To renounce your citizenship in this country, the Home Office actually has to register it. Well, of course they shouldn't be registering it if it's a criminal. You know, this goes back to the fundamental principle. When you go to court and you're asking for relief, which is what this criminal was doing, you have to go with clean hands. These hands could not be dirtier.
Look, I mean, I think it's a major win. So I'll put this to you: it is a big win for the Pakistani government, and it to have this airline, you know, landing back in
Potentially, it's not a fixture.
Potentially, but almost definitely. Right, landing back in Britain. They are treating it as a victory. They're very happy about it. Why are we letting them claim any kind of victory whilst they're still refusing to take some of these people back?
Well, I think we should certainly hold... we're moving in the right direction. Certainly before a single Pakistan Airlines plane lands, I think we should be playing hardball with the Pakistan government. I think what's particularly scandalous in this is that my understanding is that one or two of these people have been back to Pakistan on holiday with their British passport and keep coming backwards and forwards. Yeah. So clearly it's not a sustainable situation. We agree.
Why is Keir Starmer such a useless negotiator, Matthew?
Well, I don't think that this isn't really a kind of government-level negotiation.
He's giving away things all the time.
You're missing the point. You're missing the point. It's not about good or bad negotiations. It's about when to negotiate and when to issue an instruction.
And what to use.
This is instruction territory. I wouldn't have had a negotiation.
All right. Sorry, guys. We're going to have to, because we took a bit of live stuff from that protest outside of Magdalene and Epping at the start. So we're going to have to press on now. We will keep you up to date on that.